Hi, Julie Torrens here. So, I have got some envelopes that I pick up from my local Hallmark store. And they sell them in bundles for 10 for $1. And then I just took some cardstock. Gray is just what was handy. And is it an exact match? No. The envelopes aren't even the same. See? It doesn't matter. We're going to be working on some holiday cards. So I cut this to fit my envelopes. So I've got 2 card backings, blanks, 2 envelopes ready to go. I've got 2 pieces of watercolor paper. It's just the same watercolor paper that I always use. It's the Amazon's Basic. So this is 4.5 by 6. So I just cut those to fit my card blanks that I got together. But, you know, the sizes are just going to depend on what you have handy. So I'm just so you can get an idea of what size I've got. I've got my metallics. The holidays love metallics. And then I switched it up and I've got my Daniel Smith watercolors. Use what you have. If you're deciding on, I don't know whether to upgrade my paper or my watercolors, start with the paper. And it does not have to be expensive. Okay, let's get started. I just got a handful of brushes that I grabbed. I'm going to start with my Grumbacher. And for these holiday cards, I am just going to make kind of, what would you call it? Like a landscape kind of a thing. And it's going to be night. So I'm going to start out with dark blue, kind of. So I'm going to start out with this phthalo blue. I'm just going straight into the phthalo blue. Phthalo is strong. Anything with that word phthalo is strong. This is a dark blue, and I can tell that I added some hematite to it. So I'm going to use that little space. And as you can see, I just use up paints. I don't wash that off necessarily. And they get to a point that you want to. I'm going to take my bigger brush before I go ahead, and I'm just going to add some water to one, because it'll dry pretty fast. And I'm going about halfway. And I'm making it shiny, but not puddles. And let's lay some sky in here. It's going to be darker at the top, lighter at the bottom. I mean, that's just the way our eye sees things. Literally, the sky is closer to us. This is like over our head, and this is getting further away into the horizon. And now I'm just going to take that same blue. I added a touch of water, and I'm just going to make like a little bit of an irregular snowbank, I guess. Okay. Now, I realize we've just got started, but I'm going to go ahead and get into this white. Now, this paint set did not have white. A lot of purists of watercolor will say you should never use white. Well, I do. You know, no rules, right? So this is white gouache, which gouache is watercolor that is not transparent. And while this is really wet, I'm just going to start dotting in. And these are going to blur out, but they're going to look like, I hope, the snowflakes that are far away. You know, those blurry out things that we see in photographs and all. And this is not photorealistic, trust me. But just to get that started, I'm going to just take my brush now and give it a few of these, just to get some smaller ones. And good. Okay. Now, I am going to just lift a little bit of the blue right there because I'm going to put some trees there. So I just take a clean wet brush, wipe it across, and then dry my brush. Now, there's still going to be blue behind there, but I'm just going to have a row of trees back there. All right, so now we've got this snow. The snow is going to reflect the blue sky. So I am going to just stick with my phthalo blue, but I'm going to have my brush really wet, and I'm just touching the pigment. And now I'm just going to bring this down here. Good. Touch the pigment and maybe bring another snowbank this way. I just touch the pigment. This is too dark. It's going to get darker as we get closer. There. I think that'll be fine. Okay. Good. Now, let's put some trees in. I'm going to use, set this brush aside, and I'm going to use one that's just a little bit smaller because I'm going far away. I am going to take these greens right here. You say, well, there's not much pigment there. There's more than you think. But also, I'm not looking for real dark. These are the trees that are far away. So I'm going to just kind of move some of this pigment towards the middle. Got more pigment up here. More pigment on the edge from scraping a brush. And you will be surprised just how much pigment we're going to have here. Okay. Now I'm sticking with evergreen trees. So kind of a triangle shape, but some places you see through them and some places you don't. And they may blur a little with the background that we've got going on here. And that's fine. These are just far, far away trees. And I'm stopping at the snow line so that those two trees are behind the snow. And now this one, and maybe this one, I'm going to start it a little lower, and I'm going to put it in the snow. So we've got two trees behind the snow, and we've got one tree that's worked its way in front of the snow. I'm just rinsed my brush, dot, dry. I'm going to just get another green. This is all going to look the same. I'm going into this cascade green, it's called, just a little bit on the tip of my brush. This one's a little bit darker and a little bit more deliberate. I'm just adding some of these dots. And I think I'm going to just tip them up a little bit, you know, a little bit more of a pointy top. All right, there's some faraway trees made with dots. You can do this. Look what our snow has done. Isn't that neat? Okay, now I'm going to let these dry, and I'm going to work on some trees in here. So I'm going to keep using this menagerie of greens. Use it up. There was some brown up here. That's fine. Let it go in there. And I'm just going to add a little cascade. And then this one is called Serpentine, which is a little bit more of an olive green. Okay, good. That's plenty of pigment. Just grab up some of this. All right. And now I'm not worried about wiping away the blue over here. And I'm going to start with a line this time. And now I'm going to start with the dots pretty far apart. I'm really just kind of establishing a shape at this point. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing with a lower tree. And these trees are obviously closer and in the snow. Just dots. And there. Okay, that's good. Now, I'm going to grab even a smaller brush. And I'm going to go into that Cascade green. These are the greens that I've been dealing with. But I've also got this one, which I could use. That one, these two are about the same level of darkness. But I'm going to go in with this Cascade. Getting a lot of pigment, and I'm kind of depositing by scratching the side there some of the water so that I have a pretty concentrated green. Now I'm going to start with some little like this. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Just a little bit. My brush is rather dry. That's fine. And I have those dots that are helping me to know kind of like where is this tree, you know? Good. All right, I'm going to just put the tip of my brush in the water, just the tip, going back in that Cascade green, and I'm going to work on this one the same. These are like backward C's and forward C's. I'm going to have a few straight lines. Those are the branches coming straight at me. They looking like trees to you? Look evergreeny to me. Okay, good. Rinse. I am taking the same little brush, and I'll tell you, this is a $1 brush. We were just talking about it in one of the live streams that I was sitting through, which was great. Art Curious, Miriam's channel, and she has I think her name is Diane, that's with her. Great. It's just great to watch and very inspirational. I am just going to dot, starting about a third of the way down. Here, there, a little bit of brown. Now, later you may say you covered it all up. You'll be surprised what still shows. Okay, not doing it on those. They're too far away. Okay, I'm going to let those dry. And now I'm going to work on a larger tree right here, evergreen tree. I'm going to go back to the middle size brush. This is a Princeton Snap, and it's a number 6. I like this brand. And it's synthetic. All my brushes are synthetic. Why? Because if you get a sable brush, which is a common watercolor brush, that's natural hair. You need to take care of it like natural hair, like the hair on your head. And synthetics, to me, are just a little bit more robust. Now, there's a lot of other reasons why people pick the brushes that they pick. You do you. You buy some on super clearance. Blick and Jerry's Artorama always have them discounted, but they run clearances. You may not get the exact sizes you want, but you can grab a couple of brushes that way for less than $5 each and just, see what you might like. All right, bigger tree coming right here. Little line, and I am starting right out with kind of these C shapes, or I don't know, swoopy shapes. Having some come straight down in the middle. Okay. You know what? I want it bigger. So, just putting my tip, grabbing some of that Cascade, and I'm going for a little bit bigger. And yeah, I've got the branches kind of laying in the snow because this is a deep snow. No footprints. No one's been walking around out here. Okay, good. Tipping just the tip of my brush in the water. I'm going to go back into that Cascade green that you've seen me use. I'm just going to, again, tip it in, Cascade green, and I've got some kind of a brownish color here. I'm grabbing some of that. Why not? Kind of a gold green. Okay. This paint is pretty dry on my brush. That's fine. I'm going to put some more of these now. I'm just defining that top, and I'm going to put some more swishy little swishy marks. Good. Same on this one. Okay, nice. Nice. This one looks a little bare. I'm just going to grab a little more pigment on the tip of my brush. Go at this one again. I'm just making straight down lines. Now, there's a lot of different ways to make evergreens, and I make them a lot of different ways. This is just one way. All right. I'm going to find that brown that I had earlier. Just a touch. And I am, what was that color anyway? I don't know. Something, para something, genuine. Sometimes these names are based on dirt or minerals or plants. I don't always know what they're talking about. Okay. There's our little brown. Now, this one is a little bit closer to me. So I'm going to put just a few little brown sticks coming from that center. A little bit longer, the closer to me. Good. Good. Okay, now, this tree, to tell you the truth, I want it bigger. It's better to start out small. I'm picking up that brown again, because I want to establish myself there. A bit of a space. That can dry a little bit. It sure can. I'm going to go into my gouache. A lot of paint trays have white. And I'm just going to start putting some dots again. And some of them I'm going to put right in the blurry ones, but not always. It is just going to make some look further away and some closer. And as I said, we're going to be splattering this up, but these make a difference. Okay, now I believe these 3 trees are dry. They are. I'm going to take my white gouache. I just put a little bit more on the tip. And I'm going to hit them with some snow. I'm just putting dots again. Snow tends to be heavier on one side of a tree than the other at times, not always, but it just does because of the way, however the wind was blowing when that snow fell. All right, back to my big tree. And yeah, there's the brown might be still a little bit wet. It's all right. I am grabbing some of this Cascade Green. And I'm putting in another layer. Bigger, longer. Now, the bigger I'm making this tree, the closer it's becoming. So there's going to be some more detail on this. I'm going to start putting some little needles here, there, where you can kind of see some needles mixed in, especially towards the bottom. But I'm going to bring them up there. And then put the tip, just the tip in the water, grabbing up some more pigment from the tray. So now you can see a few little finer strokes. And I'm just using the very tip. Okay. Good. I like that better. All right. Now, these trees are awfully see-through still. So I'm just going into the green that I have in the tray, just with the tip. And I'm just adding a few more lines. Okay. All right. I'm liking it. What do you think? Over here, I'm going to add a rock or some kind of something that's poking out. I mean, I don't think it would just be dirt, but although, you know, snow banks up and then exposes areas, you can be walking along and there's you're knee deep. Take 3 steps and you can see your boots. 3 more steps, you're back knee deep. That's how it can go. So I'm just going to add, just like this, rumply. Little bit here. Little bit here. Not much. And another one here. Okay. Now, I'm taking this little fine brush. If you don't have one, just use the tip that you've got. And I'm going into that brown color that I was just using. And I'm going to give it some real faint, well, that's a little too faint. Faint but visible bits of grass coming out by these rocks. Just kind of poking up. I'm putting just the tip in, just a little bit, and I'm adding just a few more there. They made kind of blobbies. I'm just going to run over them with water. There. There. Okay. That's good. Now, I'm going to add some snow to these trees. I'm going to use that middle-sized brush. I'm going to show you something. Can you see that this brush is like a blue color? That's your phthalos. Phthalo green, phthalo blue, and most greens. This brush was white. Now it's bluish greenish. That's the phthalos. So don't try to just scrub all that out of your brush. It's stained, leave it alone. All right, into the white gouache I go. Loading it up. Loading it up. Okay. I'm going to start with these faraway trees and just right on the edge, kind of. Where I can see a branch kind of clear on the end of it. And I'm going to put some right up to the tip. Same on this one. Still some, tree showing, of course. There. I like that snow on there. Okay. No water. I went back into the white a little bit. And let's get some snow on this tree. Good. Little more water, little more paint. The gouache will pick up some of the green underneath. And we may need to go over, well, I'm sure we will. I almost always do go over it with a little acrylic with one of my Poscas. That's why we call this watercolor, but to the purists it's mixed media, and it is. All right, what do you think of that card? I think it's coming along great. All right, got a little brush, wet, dab, dab. I've got this Cad Red medium, and I'm going straight into there with my little brush, and I am going to make a little bird. I'm gonna make his tail this way. I'm gonna make his body, little head. There, little bird. And I've got bristles heading in every direction. Well, $1 brush. I just kind of swirled them together. And I'm going to put another one right here. There. 2 little red cardinals. All right. Now, I'm grabbing the Posca. I put X's on the ones that I've already used because I'm just going to activate it. Because I just bought some new ones because I can tell these are getting low. And I'm just going to add the snow dots on these. You could be using, maybe you've got some like Dr. Martin's ink or some other white. If you got white acrylic paint, just get a little brush and do what I'm doing. I've got the Poscas, they're handy. So that's what I'm using. Okay. Good. Now, this one I'm going to be kind of making little swirly I'm going to activate it again. As I say, they're getting low. Now, if you go to use a acrylic pen, as I say, getting low. If you go to use an acrylic pen and you get clear, you really need to shake it. That is the binder. Okay. Tired of doing nothing. Let's get this pen going and see what we get. This is a bigger tip. Oh yeah. Now I was doing dots, but I'm going back to some little lines. Just think of how the snow lays on these branches. Good, good. I'm happy with this. Great. All right, now I am gonna grab my big brush, wetting it down. I'm going into my white. Lots of white. And it's low in there. I've got more though. I've got more in a tube. I just need to remember when I'm not painting to add it to it. All right, now let's make a mess. Tapping. Further up you are, smaller the dots. Closer to your work, bigger the dots. There. I love it. Okay. We're not done. But, you know, you could stop right here. And I think this is a gorgeous little winter card, don't you? But we've got the metallics out, remember? I am going to spray this, but I'm going to spray it over here. I know you can't see, but I don't want to spray over my watercolor painting. All right, I'm going to take the Princeton, and I've got a water bubble right there that I just, it's bugging me. All right, I'm going into this gold, which I've got some right there, a little bit more water. Metallic paints love water. You'll notice I didn't spray ever the Daniel Smiths. They don't need pre-activating. The other ones that you've seen me use a lot are the Rosa Gallery that are the ones from the Ukraine. Daniel Smith is made in the US, but the Ukraine paints, they don't need pre-activation either. But these do. Okay. Now, I'm going to put some gold balls on this tree. Yep, someone was out here decorating. A little more. Have some right out to the edge, because that's where you're going to see them even more. And it'll help draw the eye into the tree. Little touch of water, little touch of paint. Nice. I'm liking it. I think it makes it look holiday. Same gold, same brush. I'm going to put just a little star up in the sky, and I'm just going to make it with lines. Just like that. And I think that adds holiday, don't you? I think it does. Okay. I like this little snow scene that we made. We didn't even work on that side, but that's okay. We can do that next time we get together. Why not? In the meantime, I am going to grab a pen. I want you to consider making holiday cards if it's something that you tend to give. Don't tell yourself, well, I need to make 50. No, make 2. Make one for each of your kids or something like that. But it's fun. And I'm just going to put the 2024. There we go. All right. Let's get a close-up. Can you see it? Kinda? Hope so. In the meantime, please consider subscribing to my channel. If you like to watch watercolors, that's what we're going to be doing for a little while. I look forward to seeing you over here where there's another video that's been picked out for you. See you there.